It was an important day here in the Florida Keys. Mariners Hospital opened its doors. I had access to Florida Senator Marco Rubio as he visited the hospital today, met with the medical staff and with some of the patients there being treated. He also went to distribute food to first responders, and then he met with local, state, and federal officials. He went from Tavernier, Isla Mirada to Big Pine Key and Key Largo before the day was done. From a logistical and psychological standpoint, opening the doors to Mariners Hospital is a desperately needed win for Keys residents.
I think the opening of this doesn't just have a tangible psychological benefit for the community in terms of life slowly getting back to normal, but it has the practical implication of making it easier to people, for them to open it up for more people to come.
Doctors, nurses, and patients happy to get to talk to the senator. Some had lost their homes during Irma. For Rubio, who frequented the Keys as a child and vacationed in Marathon just 2 weeks ago, this is personal. You were here vacationing a couple of weeks ago?
I was in Marathon for a week with our family right before school started, so it was for us to be able to come by and drive through some of the same places we had just seen, 15 days, 20 days ago. It gave us almost a very fresh, to see a place you just ate at 2 weeks ago that now looks like it's not going to be serving people for a while. I think brought it really to life in many ways.
Earlier in the day, he met with federal, state, and local officials at the Monroe County EOC. They say they need help.
So we've got to make sure we have the right resources there for that. So it really just we wanted to come down here and understand what your needs are today over the next week and make sure that those are being filled.
Are you confident that we will get the funds? Now it's going to be up to Congress.
Well, the funds will be there, and the Speaker of the House is coming next week. I don't have any real concern that the funds won't happen. I really think as long as we can keep that to emergency relief, it'll happen without much controversy. And I would just say about the federal government, irrespective of where one may be politically, there's no request of Florida that's been denied, not one.
Rubio, along with Governor Scott, met with President Trump this week to survey the damage on the West Coast. Where have you seen more devastation, in the western part of the state or here in the Keys?
It's different. We had the flooding. We had flooding on the Hero River in Lee County. I was with the president at a manufactured home area in Naples that was just all messed up, and then pretty bad flooding in the northeast area. Down here, they got storm surge. They got 140-mile-an-hour winds. They got rain. They got everything.
But a big challenge in the Keys will be housing for the displaced. They need temporary housing.
So I talked to the president about it yesterday. I've been talking to FEMA about it every day. The housing is a big problem. Partially that like in the Keys, there's no place. On top of that, a lot of it went to Harvey. So it's not going to be the housing issue is going to be. I think the housing issue is going to be the hardest short-term fix.
And since tourism is the #1 industry in the Keys, that, along with small businesses, have the most to lose.
What people will see is the roofs are still on in many places, the buildings are still standing, but the deep economic damage, the displacement, and in the case of the Florida Keys, the businesses that are not going to open for a long time, I think that's what I'm very concerned about.
But back at Mariners, a big step forward in the rebuilding process. By all accounts, it is a tough road ahead here for residents of the Florida Keys. But every official and resident that I spoke to today are convinced that this tropical paradise will once again be just that, paradise.